Good morning. Happy July 1, a whole new month. It is pretty incredible, isn't it, that we're already at the halfway point of the year, which I just find pretty amazing. I'm actually sitting in front of my new fireplace. It's an electric fireplace. And if you see here, beautiful flames. Unfortunately, I cannot seem to catch a good view of me in front of the fireplace. I tried various angles this morning, and the windows are next to it, and so it's kind of complicated. I'm going to have to play around with this a little bit more. But for this morning, you're just going to get me in front of the fireplace like this with a computer on my lap. I'm actually sitting on a really tiny little bench. I was hoping that I could catch myself on video in front of the fireplace. But I'm going to see if I can move this a little closer here. And you won't be able to see the fire, but hey, you can see me, and I will just chat with you this morning. If you are on this morning, would you please put something in the comment, say hi, put a wave, anything to let me know that you were on this morning live. And if you watch on the replay, if you would just let me know that you saw this on the replay and that you joined me this morning, I would really appreciate it. So as you all know, if you've been following me to any extent over the last month or so, you know that I am moving. I actually am almost in my new apartment, almost a month, although I only had my bigger pieces of furniture. Well, I kind of moved in gradually. You know, I've moved from a 2,600 square foot home with a 2-car garage loaded with things, my mother's things, my things. And my mom had a huge closet jam-packed with stuff. So we moved all of that out, and I am now in a 1,023 square foot home apartment. My mom is in an 8x10 size space in a nursing facility. And I have a storage unit, but I'm slowly but surely pulling things out of that storage unit, selling them, getting rid of things. I really didn't know what to get rid of right away. So I decided that I would bring what I thought I might need so I could pick and choose which things work best and then get rid of them. So I've got a pile in the corner to give away and to donate to some organization in town. And I also have just a few items that I'm selling. I've sold a lot of bigger pieces of furniture and whatnot. So that's where I've been with my move. Hi, Christy. Nice to see you this morning. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. And I got some weird thing here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I wanted to make sure I could see all my comments, and I had a little pop-up thing came up. Never seen before. Anyway, so I'm still getting my apartment intact. And the way that I'm deciding what things to keep and what things to sell or get rid of or to donate is, will I want to take it to Portugal? And does it work in here? So if it's a no to either one of those, I'm just getting rid of it now. It just makes great sense. So that's kind of my process of elimination. And I've just been so busy trying to get my mom settled in her new place. I think we're just about at a place where she's comfortable and she has room to move. We got permission to rearrange her bedding, her bed area, and some of the other things in her space. We were so blessed. She actually has a window side of the room. So we positioned her bed so that she could actually, when she's laying down, she can see out the window. She has a beautiful view of the trees. At dusk, and especially in the fall, there will be deer that prance around back there. squirrels and rabbits, and even I saw a groundhog. So my mom will get joy in seeing those things from her window. She also has a wide window sill, so she's been able to put a lot of her plants there, her favorite ones, and some other fun little things that she has that she's always placed by her plants. So that makes her happy. And we've been able to get the rest of her things in a small space there where she has room to move around. Well, thank you, Christy. Christy said, "Aw, how sweet." So I have one or two more things that I have to do for my mom, and then my mom's area will be done. I hung pictures yesterday. And just I brought her a big extension cord so she can have her music and different things. And we even found the right remote control. So the weird thing is that when she first moved in, we found this remote control. So she was trying to use it for the TV, and it controlled her TV and the TV of the lady next to her. And she really couldn't get very many channels. She couldn't figure out how to use it. So she just really wasn't watching TV much, which is, really fine. But yesterday I found another remote control in the room, and I asked her about it. And she said, "I don't know. I think that goes to the TV from the house." And I said, "No, I have that one. So I think this goes to this TV." So we turned it on, and sure enough, and Mom's got buku number of channels to watch. Discover, Disney, all kinds of channels. I'm so excited for her because she will have plenty of things that she can watch in the evening when she's not watching deer, rabbits, and groundhogs hopping around outside her window. So because most of the activities there are during the day. So in the evening, that's when she would kind of have more chill time in her room. And I'm happy that she has some television that she can now watch. So I'm still setting up my apartment because I've been so busy cleaning up the house, patching little holes in the wall. We had 2 holes from some furniture that banged into the walls. So I had to patch those, and just I have lots of art that hang in my house. Surprise. So there was a lot of, patching of little holes and scuff marks and things like that I patched with, paint patching. And so I've been busy with that and just cleaning and just packing little things that I would keep finding in small little crevices, corners, drawers, that sort of thing. And I've got someone coming. I have someone this morning that should be there right now, actually cleaning the house and getting it ready. And then carpet cleaners on Tuesday or Wednesday, Monday. And the house is ready. The house is ready for the buyers to move in. We close on Friday. So that chapter will be closed. I spent time when I left yesterday, I'll be honest, it was a time of grief, I guess. It was loss. It was knowing that I was shutting the door to a home that was really beautiful and I really loved, and it provided a good home for Mom and me, and really some sweet memories there. I made a lot of really nice friends there, and it was a nice neighborhood to live in. I left really in tears. But as I was driving back over to my apartment, it dawned on me that whatever decisions I made along the way that have led me to this point, I can see the ones that I made that I wish I hadn't made. Have things that I wish I had decided to do something differently. Maybe it would have led me to a different place. But then again, maybe not, because maybe those things were meant to lead me to where I am right now. And where I am right now is actually a new chapter that has promise. And so I am looking forward. I think it was great to have that moment of grief and kind of closure in that area. And I wanted to mention that because I think a lot of times our culture, especially here in America, I can't speak for any other area because I haven't lived in any other area long enough to say that. or make that claim. But I can say that here in America, our fast-paced, super got to get it accomplished kind of cultural thinking kind of looks down upon the process of grief. And grief can come in many different forms for many different reasons. We think of grief as being the loss of a loved one, a person in our life, and of course it is. But there's also grief at the loss of other things, the loss of, the loss of a home, which was a choice I made. And I put it up for sale. So it's not like I lost it and lost money or anything. But still, it's the end of a chapter and saying goodbye to the memories there and the things that led me to be there in the first place and the friendships and things that I had while I was there. So I just want to say grief is real. Grief is something that if we want to move forward, we have to face grief. We have to look it right in the face, eye to eye, accept it, do what we have to do to grieve, and not be ashamed. Cry if that's what's necessary. Write a letter if that's what's necessary. Whatever's necessary, but do what you have to do to process the grief and loss of whatever it is that you're grieving, that you're having emotion over. It's okay. It truly is, especially if you really acknowledge it and deal with it wisely. Look at it, accept it, acknowledge it, and then go through the process of releasing the emotion attached to all of that, and then looking to what's on the other side of that and thanking God for it, and looking forward with hope to what is ahead. So just a little message about grief. Good morning, Pam. I see you are on also this morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. And Christy, of course, I mentioned is on this morning as well. And I can see there's a few others on this morning. If you're on, would you just wave and say hello, good morning, or just give a little emoji wave or whatever, so I can say good morning back to you this morning. And if you're watching on the replay, do put replay in the comments so that I can just thank you for being on, even if it was later in the day. I appreciate that. So I had an interesting experience yesterday. It's not one that is new to me. But as oftentimes when I'm driving or when I'm doing something quiet, like that's one of the things that I love about drawing, because when I'm sketching, it's just a quiet time for me. It's a really peaceful time. And a lot of times thoughts come to me that it just kind of speak to my heart in a different way. They're not just thoughts about my schedule or what do I need to do next. They're not thoughts like that. They're just things that pop into my head, and I've learned to pay attention to them. Hey, Diane, how are you? I'm glad you joined us this morning, and I hope you're doing well, hon. So as I was driving yesterday, it just popped into my head. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this or if some of you know this or not, but after Vinny died, probably about a year or so after his death, I decided that I would be trained as a life coach. Life coaching was still kind of new at that time. And to be honest, after I was trained for that, I really felt intimidated by the requirement of what a coach should charge for their service. And it was insistent that we not go below a particular amount of money per hour. And I didn't really feel that was appropriate. I felt that it reached a crowd or a group of person that would not be able to obtain that and would need the service. And I could certainly survive on less per hour for that service. So it dwindled, and eventually it just kind of fell off the wagon, and I never really pursued it. But it's something that has nagged at me for the past 12 years, 13 years. Yesterday, while I was driving, it was another thought. It was a thought that popped up again. And what dawned on me yesterday was, here I am approaching a season in my life where I'm not, I don't want to use the word bombarded, but it is the first word that comes to my mind, bombarded by constant, continuous distraction that oftentimes felt like was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, that might be an exaggeration, but it's not too far away from the truth. So I had this thought again, maybe you should reconsider life coaching. And I've not ever been able to think, I was doing health coaching for 3 years, and I was not able to really think about how life coaching, health coaching, art, writing, and some of the other things that I want to do, the other products that I want to create with art and writing, I couldn't see how they could all come together as kind of one role or one service I would provide. But kind of in an instant yesterday in the car, it just all came to me. And it all seemed to click and make sense for the first time in 3 years that I've struggled with that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it just wasn't the right time for me to see that as one cohesive thing. Ironically, through the newest version of Grief Share, where I am in several of the videos in interviews with Church Initiative, who created Grief Share. A young lady who's been involved in Grief Share since, I believe, 2011 or 12. I never met her before. I actually, in person, never met her mom, although I had spoken to her mom a number of times. She became widowed rather suddenly, was completely unprepared, completely blindsided, had 2 girls to raise at the time, young teenagers. And this girl has been involved in Grief Share and saw me in the videos and felt compelled to reach out to me. I'm not sure exactly how she found me, but she found my phone number from somewhere, probably maybe from her mom from years ago, because I still have the same phone number that I had before Vinny died. So I've had this phone number for like 15, 16 years. But she called me, or she sent me a text, and she told me who she was and asked if she could have a conversation with me. Well, we FaceTimed last night, and I don't want to cry because that just seems dumb, but I'm emotionally touched by the fact that in the afternoon, I had this thought that came back to me about life coaching, and that everything that I had been wanting to do seemed to all fit together with that in a way that I had not come together in my mind and my thoughts before. And in my conversation with this young lady last night, we actually spoke for about 2 hours. And at one point she told me, if you decide to go back to life coaching, I want to be your first client. Like, I just feel like that's a confirmation, folks. So as I've been trying to discern where I'm going with this new chapter, what does God have for me next? And how does that fit also into moving to Portugal? I think that this is one of the paths that I'm going to be exploring. And I am looking at the unique way in which God has created me to bless others, and how that is to take the shape of coaching others in the days ahead. So that's something that you will probably hear more about in the days ahead. And I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to encourage you that to find activities that help you, I don't want to say be mindless, but relieve the stress and the overdrive of thinking about what's next and what you have to do in your to-do list, and don't forget to do this, and I've got to rush off to do that. And find things that help relieve you from that space in a day, so that God, the Holy Spirit, has the opportunity to work in your heart and mind for you to hear thoughts that your busy brain doesn't usually have time to hear. Because and then also take note of what you hear. And sometimes you don't hear anything. I mean, I'm not going to say God just starts having a dialogue with you. Some people will say they have that. That's great. I don't. Mine are more in spurts. Maybe one day I'll go into an explanation of that and how that lines up with the Hebrew in some of the scriptures. But anyway, that's for another time. But the truth is that when we're quiet enough, God does compel us. We have thoughts that will come to us, and we should write them down, and then we should pray over them, and then we should watch and wait and see what kinds of things God opens up as we consider those things and pray about them and ask God to expand on them, open doors for those things if they're of Him, shut them if they're not from Him, and kind of go through this period of kind of testing the waters. So I wanted to encourage you that God does have His ways of sharing with us things that He has in His plans for us, things that He created us to do. And, you're not going to find those specifics in the Bible. You're going to find structure of that in the Bible. And then you will have thoughts and things that come to your mind that you first weigh within the structure of our scriptural living. And then praying about which specific things and asking God for discernment, and to give us the eyes and ears to hear and see the ways that He opens and closes doors in those paths, or within those paths that we're exploring are from Him or not. So I hope that's an encouragement to you. And it was cool that I had a real example of that just happened in the last 24 hours, which is really cool. So I hope that you all have a great Saturday, a great weekend. And if you're in the USA, I pray that you have a safe and happy 4th of July. Many of you have a 4-day weekend because of the holiday this week, and I hope that it's safe, that you're safe if you're traveling, and that you just have a wonderful time with friends and family this weekend. So I love you all. I will see you again next Saturday on Fireside Chat. Bye, everyone.